Assalamu alaikum. This is a little disclaimer before I start the video. Like, I really tried not to be all over the place with this my hijab story video. However, it kind of got to the point where it was like all over the place. I was kind of getting off track because I was passionate about some things that I was talking about, so I kind of drifted off and then got back on track and drifted off. So it may make sense, it may not, it may be too much, it may be too little, but the main thing is that I just hope you guys understand where I'm coming from, and you know, I hope you learn from my story. I hope my story makes sense to you, and yeah, let's get right into it. Today's video is going to be really special. I'm going to get a little personal with you guys as I explain to you all my hijab story. This process was not easy. This journey was not easy. It still is not easy, but I'm gonna like sort of break it down to you guys, and hopefully, inshallah, you all understand how I got to the point where I am today. We're gonna start with growing up, okay, and we'll just go from there. So for those of you who do not know, I was not born Muslim. I did not grow up practicing Islam. So when I was young, my mother, she was Christian. She used to take us to church, and I say us because I have siblings. I grew up with my brother and my sister. And my mother, she would take us to church. But every time that I was in church, I just got this feeling, like, it was always this feeling of, why am I here? I literally never got baptized. I never got saved. I just went, you know what I mean? And, you know, I would read the Bible here and there, but nothing really clicked. You know, it never really made sense to me. And another thing that kind of turned me off about Christianity, going to church and all those things, is whenever I had questions, nobody could really answer them. I would go to like the pastor, or, you know, the deacon, or even people of the congregation, like, who would teach like Bible study classes and things like that. And I would just ask them random questions. I guess they were random, but they were questions that I needed answers to, and they could never really explain to me what I needed them to explain. They would never answer my questions. Like, it's like they literally like would brush me off, or they'd say something like, oh, you have to read the Bible. Sis, I'm reading the Bible. That's why I'm asking you questions. I need clarity, you know? It never really felt right, okay? And that's no disrespect for anyone who is Christian or other than that. I just knew like it just wasn't gonna work out. So let me just fast forward a little to high school. Okay, so I'm a sophomore in high school, and there was this guy in my class. I'm not gonna say his name because I don't know who will see this video, so I'm not gonna say his name, but he was popular. And one day in class, he's like, he just kind of blurted out, I read the Malcolm X story, and he said that he wanted to pursue Islam. Okay, so at the time, I'm like 16 years old, and I have no knowledge of Islam. I have no knowledge of what he's talking about. We had people, of course, in our class who would just tag along and just want to do everything that he does because of his popularity. These other people, they converted over to Islam. Majority of them, honestly, converted to get out of school early. And I'm not even being funny, because, you know, on Fridays, Jumu'ah, you know, you go to the masjid and you listen to the khutbah. So you had people in our class who sort of like wanted to, I'm sorry if I'm talking with my hands too much. You had people in the class who like kind of wanted to emulate him and the things that he did. So because he took this journey to Islam and converted, so did other people in our class. And it was just like, okay. So let's fast forward a little bit. I get like my first real boyfriend at the age of 17. He was Muslim, And I was young. We were both 17 years old. And the special thing about this particular relationship at the time, he would always teach me. We would sit down whenever I would go to his home, and he would give me the Quran, and he would say, let's read, pick a surah and let's just read. You can pick a surah and the verse that you want to read. I'll explain it to you if you don't understand. And he was always the best at explaining things to me like that I didn't get right away in the Quran. So that was sort of my first encounter. Long story short, I actually took my Shahada while I was with him. And let me just backtrack a little bit and tell you sort of how I got to taking my Shahada and everything. So when I was 21 years old, I was in this program. And in this program, I met a Muslima. And her name was, I don't know if I should say her name. Her name was Amiata. I'm gonna just say it, okay? Her name was Amiata. I'm sure she wouldn't mind that I said her name. Inshallah, she won't. If she ever sees this and has a problem, then I'll just edit that out. But until then, like I said, her name was Amiata. She was like the sweetest person. I could literally talk to her about anything, And she also wanted me to embrace Islam. She was teaching me things, and then I was telling her things that I knew, and she was like, yeah, that's good, I went to the masjid with her a few times. The very last time I went to the masjid with her, I actually ended up taking my Shahada. Alhamdulillah for that. It was like the best decision that I could have made. However, since then, I really struggled, with wearing the hijab. For me, it was like one day I'm in hijab, the next day I'm showing skin. I'm not covered, So it was really like a battle of, jihad and nafs. If you're Muslim, you really know what I'm talking about. If you're not Muslim, it's me battling myself to do good and not bad. That's as simple as I can put it. But I was really struggling until one day I started wearing it consistently, but only like during the week. Monday through Friday, you would see me in hijab, and then on the weekend, I'm like turned up. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm not out here trying to like expose my sins or anything. I'm just sharing my story, and I'm trying to be an inspiration to maybe other Muslims. Back to what I was saying. At this point, I'm consistent, like I said, Monday through Friday, and I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I can't be like that. It's almost like you're a hypocrite. A'udhu billah. It's like that, and I didn't want to be that. And I know that Allah wants me to be modest. Allah wants me to cover, to protect myself, but not only me, other people. Protect the people. Protect yourself and protect the people. I don't want a guy staring and lusting over me. You know what I mean? So to protect his eyes and protect him from that masiha, it's the right thing to do. And if you understand, you understand. And like I said, for those of you who don't and you want to ask me questions, please ask me questions in the comments. And if I know the answer, I will let you know. If I don't, I will find the answer and I will give it to you. Don't be afraid to ask me questions. I still ask questions. Don't be ashamed. We're all on the straight path, and we all know that's a struggle. Nobody's going to be 100% on it. Anyway, wearing the hijab Monday through Friday made me feel like I was doing something wrong, which I was, because why are you just like this Monday through Friday, but on the weekend you want to go out, you want to show skin, you don't want to be modest? Do you care about what Allah says or what the people in society says? Society says you're not beautiful if you cover. Society says show your bosoms and show your bum because you're more attractive to men. Your pictures would be more beautiful, if you're supposed to cover, why did Allah give you hair? All these things, like, it's a bunch of BS, to be quite honest. And I'm just keeping it real, okay? Being a hijabi is an amazing thing, and it's an amazing feeling. It's an embodying confidence type of experience, because I'm telling you, I'm probably more confident now being a hijabi than I was when I was uncovered. And people always ask me, you know, how do you feel when you see females uncovered? And I don't lie, I tell them straight up. Like, sometimes when I see it, I'm like, wow, I kind of miss wearing my dresses, or I kind of miss this, miss that. But at the same time, I also tell them I wouldn't stop covering for the world. Missing something, that's just a feeling, okay? The goal is Jenna. You have to be strong, and you have to have tough skin, because people will talk and taunt and make you feel like you're less than when you're covered, but really you're more than. Like, you're held up to a higher standard, a higher pedestal. And this is for all my Muslims, especially the younger ones, because I know when you're younger and you're developing and you're trying to find yourself, it's really, really hard. You know what I mean? The main advice that I'm going to give you guys is to read the Quran, read the book of Allah. And honestly, this is a reminder for myself first. My ears are closer to me you know, than your ears, okay? So it's a reminder for myself first, and then to you guys. And I hope that you don't take any of my reminders lightly, being believers. Like I said, this is pretty emotional, and I can feel myself like going on and on and on and on and on. And I don't want to bore you guys, and I don't want to drag out my hijab story, and I kind of didn't want to prolong it too much. That's why I kind of gave you bits and pieces. I didn't really, like, I broke it down, but I didn't break it down. So basically, long story short, I chose Allah. And choosing Allah is what led me to being a consistent hijabi, wearing my hijab every day of the week, including the weekends. There was no more on and off, on and off. There was just like consistency. And consistency is key. Like, if you're gonna do it, do it. Don't half step like me. If you can take anything from me, I would just say take consistency. Choose Allah, and you can do it. You can wear the hijab consistently, because my hijab story, you know, it's rocky, you know, but in the end, I choose the straight path. I choose Jannah. I want to do all I can to make it so that I reach Jannah. That's how I ended up wearing my hijab, and like I said, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Like, I hope you guys understand. I hope that you know that you're beautiful. You're beautiful. And just know that if you're not a hijabi and you're Muslim, you're still Muslim, you're still my sister. I still love you for the sake of Allah. And inshallah, you'll get there one day where you can be a hijabi full-time, 24/7, 365. Girl, I'm rooting for you, okay? I'm just saying, like, it's really a wonderful feeling. Please leave your comments, leave your questions down below. I will get back to each and every one of you. Like, I will. Inshallah, I will. You guys, I feel like I said a mouthful, okay? A mouthful. This video honestly wasn't easy. I was contemplating on whether I wanted to share my experience or not, because I know there are a lot of judgmental people. But again, we all have our struggles. No one's perfect. That's why we make tawbah. Again, to remind you all, say astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah often. I like to say it, you know, many times throughout the day. It's very, very important. Yes, that is my hijab story. It's been a long time coming. I'm finally, like, consistently rocking hijab, and like I said, I couldn't be happier. I hope I reached some ears, you know, and I hope I inspired a few sisters to maybe wear the hijab consistently or even more often. Yeah, that's that on that. And thank you guys so much for watching, If you watched the whole video from beginning to end, thank you so much. Please like, please comment, please subscribe. Inshallah, I will see you guys in my next video. Until next time, assalamu alaikum.